Yo. Good morning. Thank you. I think I see some congratulations up in there. Whew. Good morning, folkers. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the world. Snapzilla Gorilla. Welcome to the Definition of Anarchy. Today is Saturday, November 28th, 2020. Tina Hartman was good. Yep. November 28th, 2020. And yeah, my baby was born last night. Baby number 6. Yo, it's a funny story how it happened, y'all, too. But we had the baby at home, of course, you know, because that's how we wanted to do it. And it's a funny story how it got started, how it happened, man. It was something else. It was amazing. Let me tell you all that right now. Having your baby at home, yo, it's amazing. It's a great thing. It's just so much less stress. Like, the difference is night and day between going to the hospital and doing it in an environment where you're comfortable. Night and day difference. No, I'm stopped. I can see what y'all talking about. Tina Hartman was good. Xander was good. Yep, a home birth. The baby's name is Ohanzi Natosi. Ohanzi Natosi. Ohanzi is a Sioux name, and Natosi is a Blackfoot name. So Ohanzi means shadow, and Natosi is the sun god, right? He's the sun god. So, you know, and you know, you can't have a shadow without light, right? You can't cast a shadow without light. So I figured, you know, boom, shadow, sun god. You know what I mean? Ohanzi Natosi. I love that name. James Freeman was attacked by that's funny. Oh yeah, the Sioux gave a lot of people a lot of problems, yo. Back in the settling days, man, those Sioux, yeah, they were a nuisance to them. Anyway, what they turned out to be to the Sioux and the rest of the Native Americans were a lot more than a nuisance. I'll tell you that. Oh, you talking about James Freeman? Oh yeah. You talking about James Freeman, the auditor, right? The cop watcher. I'm gonna have to, when I stop moving, I'll read it so I can see what you're talking about. Right now I'm driving. I don't want to get no accidents. So, all right, now I'm stopped. Okay. All right. Well, where's the comments? Okay, so James Freeman was attacked by idiots. Oh, I thought you said the Sioux. I was like, what? Yeshua was returned. Who was he attacked by? That's crazy. He's out there doing important work, man. James Freeman is out there on the front lines, man. Who attacked him? The cops or cop lovers? Anyway, yeah. Ohanzi Natosi. That's my son's name. James Freeman was locked up, but he should be freed soon. AHP, Arizona Highway Patrol, of course. I'll check it out. Yeah, y'all go support James Freeman. He does a lot of good work. He's out there on the front lines, putting his ass on the line like damn near every day, cop watching it and keeping the cops in line. So J-Law was good. So, yep, that's my baby's name, and the story of how he came is kind of funny, but so I'm gonna say that this was the shortest labor I have ever witnessed. right? I've had 6 babies total, right? And you know, my wife, she never really has long labors. I think the shortest labor she ever had before this one was about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. But this dude right here, man, he wasn't playing. So I had the whole setup going, right? We had a birthing pool. We had all these birthing supplies. We had a sterile hose to get the water into the pool. We had the pool. It was not one of those nice birthing pools, one of the tall ones that you blow up and that she can the walls are tall enough for her to hold on to and lean on and all that stuff. It had a cushion on the bottom. I had everything set up, man. And I made a mistake by letting my children take showers before I would fill the pool up, because I needed to use a shower head to fill the pool up. And my wife goes to the bathroom to use the bathroom, and she's screaming my name, but I'm not hearing her because I'm upstairs setting the hose up to the shower. And I come downstairs and she's screaming my name, and I'm like, what the hell? She said, it's coming in the bathroom. So, oh man. So I run to the bathroom and I see he's crowning, and I'm like, oh shit. So I had to do a baseball slide to my wife to catch that baby, basically. And yeah, that's how it happened, man. In the bathroom. I mean, we had candles. We had the whole ambiance set up, man. We had these Christmas lights that were kind of real dim, and you know, we would turn off the regular lights and turn on Christmas lights. They had a nice, real nice atmosphere, and all that shit. I didn't even get to fill the pool up with the water yet, man, before that baby came out. I'm telling you, that labor was like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And when the baby came out, it was ready. He was ready. He was like, okay, I'm coming right now. I ain't got time for y'all playing. Y'all playing too much. I don't need all that. Just make sure I come out safe. And that's what happened. And I'm gonna tell you, man, it's night and day difference, man. Like, that baby was not hiding, right? When he was ready to come, it came out. But when you go to the hospital and you got all these strangers around your baby, and this nurse, that midwife, and that doctor, and she's all strapped up with cords and IV needles and all this other shit, and they're just fussing over her every 20 seconds. That baby doesn't want to come out in that environment like that, you know what I mean? And as a matter of fact, we had to have a couple babies induced because it just wasn't, it didn't want to come out in the hospital. So I say about half of my children, well, less than half of my children were born, they had to be induced, right, with Pitocin, synthetic artificial Pitocin. So it's just a 9-day difference, man. Like, she was not in that much pain. Like, her labor pains were not nearly as bad as when she's in the hospital and they're forced to lay on their back. You know, that's not a natural way for babies to be born. Babies, it's better for them, the woman, to be squatting or, you know, on all fours or something like that. It's a better transition, right? And I really, it seems kind of personal telling you guys about this home birth stuff, but it's really informative, you guys. Like, if you guys want to have children, I suggest that you look into a home birth, because having had 5 children in the hospital and having one at home, stark difference. And you know, there was no blood when the baby came out. No blood at all. It was all clear amniotic fluid. You know what I mean? My baby came out clean. No blood or anything on the baby. None of that. It was stress-free. Even though it was in the bathroom and my wife was using the potty, it was stress-free. And of course, there was blood when the afterbirth came out. You know, that's natural. But you know, it was just, and the most important thing for me was I wanted to make sure that cord stayed attached for as long as possible, so that the baby can get all the stem cells and all the blood and nutrients from that placenta. Very important. And it was a beautiful placenta too, man. But I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if you guys have ever cut a cord, a baby cord, in the hospital. But at the hospital, they want you to cut that sucker within 30 seconds, right? That's not good. I mean, you're all the nutrients that the baby needs and the stem cells and the things that help the baby continue to grow are still getting pumped into the baby from the placenta, because the woman is still having contractions after the baby, and the contractions are helping the placenta pump blood into the baby, blood and nutrients and all that shit. And a lot of the baby's blood supply is still in the placenta after birth, right? So you want to make sure that all the rest of the blood and everything is going into the baby from the placenta. And that's another huge difference. When you cut the cord in the hospital, the umbilical cord is very stiff and full with blood and stem cells. So it's like real hard, right? It's really hard. It's really hard. Like and then when you try to cut it, it's kind of slippery. So you got to kind of pull the cord to make it kind of taut, and you cut it. But when you allow all that blood and all the things that baby needs to be pumped through that umbilical cord into the baby, it's soft. The cord is soft, like like you can pinch it and all that stuff. That lets you know that it's done. It's done doing the job it needs to do for the baby. And it was a lot simpler to cut. You know what I mean? It was just, you just cut it just like that. So that was another huge difference. The cord was easier to cut because it wasn't full and thick with blood and whatnot. And yeah, so that's another huge difference, yo. It was just a beautiful thing, y'all. And you know, my sister came. She's a doula. She came after the baby was born. She was supposed to come while my wife was in labor, but we wanted to hold off and make sure. But the baby didn't give my sister enough time to come and doula. So she came afterward and helped get the placenta out. And it was a simple process. Like it just came out and boom, you know. And then she made this big old pot of bone broth for my wife. Big old pot. And it's just a different thing, you know. And she's very gentle with my wife, and like letting her do what she want to do and not in her face and hounding her like they do at the hospital. At the hospital, they hound you, man. They hound you. And you know, the mother spends the night at the hospital, and they're interrupting her sleep, and they're interrupting the baby's sleep, and they're doing this, checking that, and we got to do the hearing test. We got to do this test and that test, and we got to draw the blood for the blah 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 and all this shit. And like, no, it's not like that. Like, I swear, the baby and my wife would get up every now and then to change a diaper, but that baby was not crying. It barely cried, yo. Like, it cried a couple times. It cried like 3 or 4 times for a total of 30 seconds. Otherwise, it's just chilling. It's chilling. It was smiling at me. It was smiling, and it was just totally different experience, man. Totally different experience. And the last time, the baby before that, I was really very upset at the doctors there, because I told her, because usually I cut the cord, and I told her, I was like, look, do not cut the cord until after like a minute or two, please. I said, do not cut that cord as soon as that baby come out. And what her dumb ass do as soon as the baby comes out, she didn't even let me cut the cord. She just went ahead and cut it. I almost slapped her. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I ain't never hit a woman in my life, but I was this close to slapping the shit out of her, because she did the exact opposite of what I told her to do. I was hot, you know what I mean? And the idea. So when I go, ever since my first child, I had very specific instructions for the doctors in the way I wanted to do things. Like, uh, of course, we want to keep the placenta. We want to take that. We don't want you don't want the hospital to have the placenta and the cord. That's for you. We didn't want any drugs, no medication, no pain meds, none of that shit. Because that's the first thing they ask you when you get in there. Oh, you want this? You want the epidural and the blah 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 and the Novocaine and the no. We wanted it to be as natural as possible without being at home, and they don't like that. These hospitals, they don't like that. They act like, oh, it's so much danger to the baby if you don't do this, do that, and the third, and if you don't do this, you don't do that. And it's like, we've been having babies for millions of years without sterile hospitals where everything has to be done a certain way and a certain protocol. Yeah, there was a lot of stillbirths and children dying at young. I mean, but that was because the conditions were not as sanitary as they are now. So like, even if you have it at home right now, at least you can provide a clean environment for your child to be born in. You know what I mean? Without freaking and it's not so different than the hospital. These hospital rooms that the children that your wife is put in during labor is not super clean. It's not like the cleanest thing in the world. It's not like a clean room at Intel or some shit. It's still shit. Even the postpartum room ain't super clean. Like, it's clean, but it's not like any cleaner than you can make your own house. You can prep your home for the baby to be born, just like you could at the hospital. You just don't have all the machines and this, that, and the third. We had a heart monitor for the baby. The little thingy that you rub on her belly. We found the heartbeat, and we didn't bother to check blood pressure of my wife, and we didn't I didn't have to give her an IV drip or saline and all. We didn't have to do any of that shit. She knew what she wanted. My wife knows her body, and she knew that she would be okay. We went in there with a positive attitude. It was a positive, enlightening experience. But I'm done. I'm done having babies. That was it. Number 6 was it. Yeah, they don't, of course they don't want to open the windows in the hospital. They tripping, man. Like, in the way that they're taught to fear anything but a hospital birth, the way that the hospitals want it done. Like, if you come with anything different, they're like discombobulated. Their brains explode. Like, well, we shouldn't be doing it like that. Oh my God. What do you need the placenta for? Oh, you don't want to get a vitamin K shot? You don't want to get a Hep A? Why? Listen, my baby is not going to be exposed to hepatitis. Why are you trying to make my baby get a hepatitis shot the day it's born? Like, it's ridiculous. Hold on, y'all. Hold on real quick. Back in Syria, there ain't no medications. They were just fine. Word. It's ridiculous. All the medications, and it's like, how do you think people were born before industrialization? How do you think they were born? You know, midwives came to the house and had that baby. Shit. Using boiling hot water and all that type of shit. But, you know, they think, you know, people think that, I don't know, it's just the mentality that we have nowadays, man. We can't do anything without all these institutions, and, you know, oh, you need to send your kids to school, and, oh, you need to have the baby at the hospital or they'll die. Oh, you need to get this vaccine, and you need to get that tested, and this, that, and the third. No, what? No, you don't need to do all that. You don't need to do all that. You know, and sometimes, you know, children are going to die, and sometimes grown adults are going to die, whether there's a hospital or whether there's a school, like this, whether there's a law against something, you know, like all these rules and laws and edicts, none of it stops anything. Okay, because people are still going to do crazy shit. People are still going to go out. You know, there's laws against murder, right? But that doesn't stop people from murdering people. There's laws against running red lights, but people are still going to run red lights. There's laws against stop signs, and, you know, there's laws against this, that, and the third. There's laws against drugs, but it doesn't stop people from doing the drugs. It doesn't stop it. Just like going into the hospital to have your child, it's not going to stop something bad from happening if it's going to happen. Just like having your child at home doesn't mean that your child's going to die. It doesn't mean that your child's going to have an infection. It doesn't mean your child's going to be sick or have some type of deformity. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's like these lockdowns. This mask, you know, stricter. They got more strict lockdowns in LA County that go into effect on Monday. But it's not going to prevent anything. It's not. The lockdowns make shit worse. I mean, we already know in New York, 84% of the people that were hospitalized with Tecate19 stayed at home. They followed the lockdown orders. The rest didn't. 2% of homeless people, 2% of homeless people made up 2% of hospitalized Tecate19 patients. And they're always outside. They ain't got no choice. They always outside. They always pounding the pavement. They always moving, and they're in the sun, and they're outdoors. There's a reason for that. There's a reason 71% of people who are infected with Tecate19 always wear masks. That YouTube, that's what the CDC report says. The CDC says that, not me. This is not my assertion. This is based on a report from the CDC that I have shared with you guys. 4% never wore a mask. But people don't understand that. They don't care. Oh, well, this expert said this and that expert said that. Experts can say whatever they want. But they're supposed to be just believed because they're experts? Hell no, experts lie. Experts lie. They can be experts at lying while they're experts of virology. These people, it's not about keeping you safe. Just like having a baby at the hospital, it's not about keeping you safe. It's about doing whatever they can to place controls over your children, right? You go to the hospital, there's a certain protocol. This person comes to see you. You got to go through this registration. You got to set this Social Security up and that birth certificate up. You got to do this and do that, and you know, oh, we got to draw blood and make sure they're not going to have this disease or that disease. Oh, we got to get a circumcised and all this other shit. I'm gonna tell y'all, man. My second son, I don't think I'm gonna get him circumcised. You know, I think I'm gonna let him have his meat. You know what I mean? Let him have his extra little meat. Just gotta. I'm circumcised. I just gotta learn how to clean it. You know, teach him so I can teach him when he gets older. Pull that sucker back. Make sure you clean it real good. You know. I just you know, it's wild, man. It's crazy. It's crazy what. We go again. Here we go. Here we go again. Am I back? So, am I back? I won't be getting my future son circumcised. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get him circumcised. Thank you. You stupid fool. I ain't seen you in a minute. James Milich, what's going on? Experts. Yeah. Experts are full of shit. Are being full of shit. They're experts at being full of shit. Because, you know, you have to understand what an expert is. Expert, not even really an expert. These are not really experts. They're professionals, right? Professionals in the field. And they're taught a certain way. And they're only taught so much. And if they don't go out of their way to do further research and do further reading, they're just going to believe what they've been taught in school and what they've been taught in these journals, like doctors, right? They go to school to learn how to be a doctor. They spend so much time in each field, depending on what kind of doctor. Let's say you're a private physician. Let's say you're a general health physician or whatever. You're going to learn a little bit about everything. And that's all you're going to learn in school. But unless you dive deeper into your field to see what's really going on, unless you look at case studies and this, that, and the third, and search for anomalies and see what's going on, you're just going to know what they want you to know. You have to take it upon yourself to find out more. Like, you understand what I'm saying? If you don't go out of your way to learn beyond what they want you to learn, you ain't gonna know much. And someone like me is gonna know more than you. You know why? It's not because I have a better understanding of the inner workings of the field. It's just I know a lot more information because I decided that I was gonna look into a lot of different avenues and in different ways and different, you know what I mean? Whereas most people suffer from confirmation bias. They're only going to look at what speaks to them and, you know, goes along with what they want it to be. So if they always thought something was a certain way, when they research something, they'll find something that speaks to what they have already believed, and they'll stick with that instead of saying, you know what, I'm gonna go beyond that. I'm gonna say, all right, this sounds right to me, but I'm gonna keep going. I want to know what as many experts has to say on this subject as possible. Not just 2 or 3, maybe like 10 or 15, right? And even with this Tecate19 stuff, I want to know what as many experts as I can believe about this Tecate19 stuff. And then I'm going to go with common sense. I'm going to go with real world experience, what I've been seeing, anecdotal stuff, you know, just from people who've actually had Tecate19 and what they were told were Tecate19, right? Because they get the test and the test tells them they have Tecate19. So I go by their experience and all that, not just what Fauci says, not just what even Andrew Kaufman says, right? Because Andrew Kaufman has his way of thinking about it, and Anthony Fauci, of course, is an establishment person, and he has his thoughts about it, or what he tells you his thoughts are. So I don't want to just know what those two say. I want to, okay, let me go beyond that. And this Tecate thing is hitting a lot more closer to home to me now, right? My sister has it right now. I just found out yesterday. But I haven't been around her in months. So she has it. My brother and his wife has it in Ohio. My wife's friend has it, and she was like, she's a nurse, right? And at first she was going along with the narrative, what the media told us, and what these experts, these so-called experts in the government tells us. But based on her experience, she's like, man, this shit ain't even hitting like that. Like she had symptoms. They were mild, but she could deal with them, right? They were manageable. And not only that, it was her two sons, and their father all live in the same house with her parents. In a, as it was in the days of Noah. So her parents are older, of course. They all lived in the same house. They were all exposed to Tecate19, but her parents never got it. Her parents never tested positive for Tecate19. They never got sick. They never had symptoms, ever. The entire time that she's in that house, for those 2 weeks quarantine, of course, they have to stay in the house. They live together. They never got it. Never tested positive. Never experienced symptoms. You're talking about older people. And that always brings me back, when I hear stories like that, it always brings me back to the Princess Cruise, right? That was out at sea for 2 weeks. They had to quarantine out at sea for 2 weeks. No one died, right? I still think no one died from that, from that ship. Correct me if I'm wrong, from that particular ship. I know there were 2 cruises, but there were times, there were instances where on that cruise ship, couples, of course, were living in the same cabin. One person would have Tecate19, the other one never got it. And they're all up under each other the entire time. But one has and one doesn't. That happened all throughout the ship. So if it's so virulent, why didn't everybody on that ship have it? And they were together for 2 weeks. That speaks to how what up? Yeah. No. Man, my phone mysteriously shut down. As I'm talking about what? Anyway, y'all, I'm here at the farmer's market. I will continue this live when I get back in the van and head to my next destination. We got more to talk about, all right? So yeah, holla at your boy. Stay tuned. I say about an hour or so. I'll be back up in here. And yeah, we'll get it popping. All right. Peace. Look what I was talking about. And all of a sudden, my phone shuts down. Ooh. Oh shit, my whole platform just fell. All right, peace out, y'all. Holla at you.